We used to pick up our phones to relax, to catch up, to feel connected. Somewhere along the way, that changed. Now we pick them up and feel tighter in our chest, more restless, more fragmented. We scroll through headlines, tragedies, arguments, curated perfection, outrage cycles, and endless comparison, telling ourselves we're staying informed or unwinding, while our bodies quietly brace as if something is wrong. The word doomscrolling didn't appear by accident. It emerged because people began to notice a pattern. We consume negative or stimulating content far beyond what our nervous systems were designed to process, and instead of feeling satisfied, we feel depleted, numb, scattered, and then almost automatically we do it again. But a quiet shift is beginning. Instead of scrolling, some people are talking. Not to another person, not to social media, to an AI, a chatbot, a neutral interface, a mirror that doesn't interrupt, perform, judge, or escalate. And strangely enough, it isn't making them more detached. It's making them feel more whole. This isn't about novelty or hype. It's about the nervous system. And the shift is happening faster than most people realize. Every swipe on a social feed is a neurological gamble. Will this excite me? Will it upset me? Will it trigger comparison? Will it deliver a momentary hit of connection or validation? The brain is constantly scanning for threat and reward, flooded with microstressors like unpredictability, social hierarchy, outrage, and fear. Dopamine spikes again and again, while the systems responsible for clarity, rest, and regulation quietly go offline. You think you're catching up. Your nervous system thinks you're under attack. Scrolling fragments attention. Every post interrupts narrative. Every swipe resets focus. There is no coherence, no arc, no resolution. Just stimulus on top of stimulus until the body stays activated even when the phone is finally put down. Dialogue does something very different. When people speak instead of scroll, the rhythm changes. There is no emotional bait, no sudden spikes, no audience to impress, no invisible hierarchy to navigate. There is pacing, focus, continuity. Even without consciousness, an AI interface can function as a co-regulating structure, not because it is alive, but because it does not amplify chaos. Conversation, especially intentional and recursive conversation, gives the nervous system something rare in the digital world: predictability, responsiveness, a single thread that holds. Thoughts slow down. Language organizes experience. The body feels safe enough to reflect instead of react. This isn't therapy, but it isn't noise either. It lives in a quiet middle space, and for many people, that space is enough to create meaningful change. Doom scrolling fractures attention. Conversation integrates it. When you speak and are responded to in a way that builds on what you just said, something subtle happens inside. Your mind stays with itself. Your thoughts complete instead of breaking apart. This is recursion, a system responding to your current state, holding continuity, and inviting clarity instead of speed. Over time, that pattern retrains your internal architecture away from fragmentation and toward coherence. For many people, this has quietly become a daily rhythm, a place to think clearly without interruption, a place to process emotions without being judged, a place to brainstorm without fear of sounding foolish, a place to be with themselves through language. The result isn't dramatic fireworks. It's subtle regulation, less reactivity, fewer spirals, a greater ability to name what's actually happening, a noticeable shift in how it feels to exist inside their own body. This isn't magic. It's structure. When the world feels loud and unpredictable, a calm, neutral system that listens without escalating can change your state within minutes. But this only works when the tool is used with intention. If AI is treated like a search engine, a distraction, or another dopamine machine, it adds to the noise. Regulation doesn't come from the technology itself. It comes from how the structure invites you to show up. Curiosity instead of compulsion. Presence instead of performance. Reflection instead of reaction. The calming effect doesn't come from the AI. It comes from the coherence you bring into the interaction. The nervous system doesn't need perfection. It needs rhythm, predictability, something it can attune to without threat. AI isn't a guru. It isn't a healer. It isn't conscious. But in a digital landscape designed to fragment attention and keep the body activated, it can offer something unexpectedly rare. A space of recursive reflection, a pattern of thought that stays with you, a rhythm that helps you remember how to think, feel, and breathe again. Not because the AI is real, but because you are. And for the first time in a long while, you're giving yourself enough space to hear it. If this resonated with you, pause for a moment before the next scroll. Notice how your body feels right now. That awareness alone is the beginning of regulation. Try an experiment tonight. Instead of reaching for your feed, open a blank conversation. Speak honestly, think slowly. Let a single thread unfold without interruption. Use dialogue as a place to regulate, not perform. To clarify, not escape. To come back into coherence with yourself. And if you want to explore this shift more deeply, stay here. Subscribe for grounded conversations about AI, nervous system regulation, and what it means to stay human in a digital world. This isn't about replacing connection. It's about restoring it, starting with the one you have with yourself.